Hi everyone, this is Mr. G'day, and this is lesson 1 on the very basics of spreadsheets. Hopefully by using a spreadsheet well, you'll eliminate some of the silly mathematical mistakes that could gum up the works in some of your data analysis. So, first of all, in this Google spreadsheet, each of these boxes here is called a cell. And into a cell you can put numerical data, as seen here. Or you can put in text if you'd like. And the most powerful thing you can put into a cell is called a function, which is basically to turn each cell into an equation. So in here, let's say I wanted to calculate the average or the mean of these data points here in column B. Well, I could do this in longhand form, and the syntax would be equals, and then the rest of your equation, for example, parentheses 23 plus 24 plus 24, and so forth. Now, the likelihood of me doing this correctly is pretty low because I'd have to type in all of these things correctly, and, well, maybe that's correct, maybe it isn't. But there's a much better way of doing this. What you should do instead is the following. Type in equals, and then a function, in this case, average. The actual word average can be typed in here, and then in parentheses, you can put in this range of cells. In this case, it would be B6 through, and that's the colon sign for through, B13. Close the parenthesis, and it auto-calculates the answer for you. Now, here's another way of doing it. You could do the same thing for this column over here, equals average, and instead of typing in B6 through B13, you can actually just click and drag and select those cells. Close the parentheses, and there you go, there's the average. Here's another way you can do this. Let's say that you've properly calculated an average here, and you want to do the same thing for this range of cells in column C. Well, I can just do a copy-paste, copy this formula, and then paste it over here. And you'll notice it doesn't actually copy the exact formula. It's not average B6 through B13 over here. It recognizes that you're probably trying to calculate it for these cells and makes that decision for you. Now, here's an even better way of doing this. Let's say that you wanted to get the averages for each of these columns. Well, you've got the average of the first column, and there's an autofill function in Google Spreadsheets. All you have to do is grab this cell by the corner, drag it out, and it will autofill the formula for you all the way across. Now, a couple other things that you should know about. Average is obviously not the only function. There are plenty of other functions, including things like very statistical tools like standard deviation. So I could get the standard deviation of this data set like so. And then, again, click, drag it across, and autofill to get the standard deviations for each of these sets. Another thing you should know is that if you don't agree with the number of digits shown, you can change this under Format. You can actually change the number of digits shown. And then next, if you actually typed in some of this data incorrectly, or let's say there was an outlier, if you had to change a data point, you can do so, and it will auto recalculate your formula here. Next, if you had an outlier that you had a scientifically justifiable reason for eliminating, note what happens if I eliminate this. If I just delete this data point, it recalculates the mean, not based on 8 data points. That is not included as a 0. It calculates it based on the data that's there. So it's these 7 data points, and that's the mean.